In week 5, you did a search to find more evidence regarding your PICO question. And now we're at the portion where we're going to be doing annotated bibliographies on those articles that you found and on those sources. So after reviewing the unit outcomes as well as the description, you'll go down to the directions and notice that you need to have at least 7 reputable sources within the last 10 years. And you're going to be doing an annotated bibliography. There's an example below. At least 4 of these need to be peer-reviewed journal articles from either academic or professional journals. The other 3 can be from reputable websites, that end in .org, .gov, .edu. These aren't just interesting opinions that are on those. Sometimes those are paid advertisements, but instead, many of these websites will have articles embedded within those, or reports that come out, such as the CDC, that kind of thing. So those can be your other sources right there. And then you'll notice that for each one you'll have an APA 6th edition reference, and that does need to be correctly done. This is going to be done in a Word document and resubmitted, so you need to be paying very close attention to how you do that reference. If you don't remember, please go back to the content you did weeks 1 and 2 in this class, as well as your APA book. Under each one, you're going to provide 2 in-depth paragraphs. This isn't just a sentence or 2, but actual paragraphs. In the first paragraph, you're going to explain the main point or idea addressed by that study or that article. So kind of a little summary of what was that article about. And then under the second paragraph, you're going to be putting how does that apply to your PICO question. Because we talked before about some of these may plug into different parts of your question, showing a need for the intervention, or showing how that outcome looks, or showing more about your demographic, that type of thing. So again, the first paragraph is a summary of what you found out in that study or in that article, and the second paragraph is tying that content into your PICO question, how that's going to fit into what you're doing overall. Similar to a reference page, you do need to make sure that these references are in there in alphabetical order. And so if you look, here's an example where we put like Wildcat W, and then this all should be hypothetical, obviously. And as you notice, just based on how my monitor's set up right now, this has bumped that down to there. That's a limitation within Canvas. But you do need to make sure that in your Word document, all of this is properly formatted. But under each one, that's where you'll put 1 paragraph that's a summary and 1 paragraph of how that ties into your question. There's some resources down below. This is worth 8 points, which is 8% of your overall grade. And this will be incredibly helpful as you move forward. In your final paper that's due week 12, you will be doing literature review, which is a synthesis of these articles and of this content that you found. So the more in depth you are at this point, the easier your life will be by far moving forward. So notice that for each reference, you need to go in and meet the criteria that's stated there all the way down. There's also 1 point at the bottom that's for overall formatting, which includes having the references in alphabetical order.